with Roberta's House, where we create a safe space for honest conversations about grief, healing, and hope. My name is Mona, and I'll be your host for this episode of Real Talk with Roberta's House.
Welcome to Real Talk, brought to you by Roberta's House. This is a space for honest conversations about grief, healing, and everything in between. Grief shows up in moments we don't expect and stays longer than we planned. This podcast is about making space for those moments and the people living through them. No scripts, no pressure, just real people telling the truth about what it means to carry loss and keep going.
Today's conversation is one that comes straight from the heart. We're joined here by our guest, Michelle Grier, who's a courageous mother who's going to share a bit about her journey after losing her son, 2-year-old son Mason. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for trusting us and our listeners with your story.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm glad to share it.
Yes. So please tell us a little bit about Mason. But before we get into that, before we start talking about grief, we want to draw our listeners in and have an opportunity for them to meet who Mason is or who Mason was. Can you just share a bit about Mason?
Absolutely. So Mason Levi Grier was born on June 23rd, 2017. And he was a happy, bubbly little boy who captured the hearts of many. And while he was on this physical earth for 2 years, he made a great impact. And I say that because he was my namesake. He actually carries the name of my maiden name, Mason.
Okay.
And I'll say be careful what you pray for, because my prayer was that because my father only had girls, that I would name my son Mason so that the name would continue.
Okay.
And while he is not here, I do believe that his name will carry on for a lifetime through me. I didn't think about it that way at first when I named him Mason. Yeah. But again, God has a funny way of showing you, you know, how things will be. So, but to tell you a little bit more about him, again, he loved watching the movie Coco.
Coco.
Yes.
Okay.
The movie Coco.
Yes. Okay. The animated movie.
Yes,
Got it.
He watched that every single day. And what's symbolic about that as well is that there's a song in that movie called "Remember Me," and I did not know that would resonate with me after he passed away as well. So again, I just think it's just all. I don't believe in coincidences, so I just think that everything kind of happened for a reason. Yeah. And but again, he had dimples like me, like his mom. And he, again, just captured the hearts of many. One thing I will say about him as well is he really liked watches, specifically like Apple watches. So like if you had like a Mickey Mouse or a Minnie Mouse or something on your watch, he would always play with the watch. He didn't care who you were. He would go up to you and he would play with the watch. You could be a stranger.
Stranger danger. Okay.
And I keep on going back to just things happening for a reason. That just means that time is on no one's side. And I don't know if that was his way of showing me that he's not going to be here for a long time. But again, he just was a belly laughing little boy who got into the most and was just a beautiful soul. And that's my Mason.
Yes.
And he is missed. And I will say and I said this when I went through my class, is that I don't use the word loss. I don't use the word loss because I know exactly where he is. When you lose something, you can't find it. Like you lose your keys, you don't know where your keys are.
Right.
You lose your phone, you don't know where your phone is. So I didn't lose my son. I know exactly where he is, and I'll see him again.
Wow. Powerful statement.
Thank
you for sharing that.
No problem.
And I can see why he made you smile. So tell us a bit about some of the things that he liked to do.
Okay. So again, he liked just a couple movies that he would watch all the time. For kids, they watch movies over and over and over again. So Coco was his favorite. He liked Buzz Lightyear. He would watch that all the time. And he loved the song Hand Clap. He would find it on my phone at 2 years old. It's like, I can make your hands clap.
I just wanted you to do it. Okay, go ahead.
He loved that song. So, but again, he had dimples and he had the most beautiful smile. And he was, at my church, he was a church baby.
Okay.
Meaning church baby is that I didn't see him during service because everybody had him.
Okay.
It's funny because when we wrote up his obituary at the funeral, we called him a fun engineer at his daycare because he was just like the fun little one.
Okay.
Like when he didn't come, it was like, where's Mason? You know what I mean? So again, while he was only here on earth for 23 months, just to be exact, 23 months, again, he made an impact. And again, I'm grateful that God loaned him to me for the 23 months that I had him.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a wonderful light that was placed in your life and trusted with you for so long. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell us a bit about what in your journey drew you to Roberta's house. How'd you hear about us and what made you connect?
Absolutely. So I actually had a coworker. My coworker went through your program, and her son passed away. He was old. He was 33, and she had told me about your program. And I look up to her, Karen Bailey, if I can say her name, Karen Bailey. She, like a mother figure to me. She really, and also kind of mentored me through this whole process because she went through something very similar, you know. She had told me that she had went through your program, and I put it off. I did for a while, because I was in survival mode for a while. You know, I hold the role of a mom, and because I do have another child, and I went into a mode where I got to take care of everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to put on this face for everyone. So I will say I put it off for a while, seeking the proper counsel.
Yeah.
But eventually, some transition had happened in my life to where as though I did a self-reflection of how can I be better? What are the things that I can do to better myself and not bleed on people? Because I was told I changed after my son passed away, you know, and I sensed that.
Okay.
I think I've always been this like light, you know what I mean? I've always been a great personality and a life of the party, but I think some of that left when he passed away. Again, I'm still always going to be the core me, but it just wasn't the same. So I said, you know, how can I start to get back to Michelle? So I sought many different avenues of self-improvement, and one was counseling.
Okay.
And that's when I called, and, you know, I was a let's do this now kind of person. You know what I mean?
Right,
so when I called and the class hadn't started for a couple of weeks, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do in a couple of weeks, and I got to wait. But, you know, it was worth the wait. So that's what drew me. It was a coworker that went through the program. Then I want to say that my mom also went through the program as well when her husband passed away. And she went through the program before me as well. So again, it was several different people who had recommended the program to me. I'll also say this, the month after my son passed away, I was at a facility and I saw your founder, Annette. And I had seen her on the news and forums, and so I knew how she looked. And I saw her and I said, oh, it's nice to meet you, you know, and I introduced myself. And at that time, it's like I still in my mind was like, I'm not ready. You know what I mean? But it was like I kept seeing glimpses of like your organization. And when I say that, like people who work there, a friend of mine who I went to school with posted something on social media that she volunteered there and things like that. So it was like
many signs
that was like, Michelle, get your stuff together. Get your act together, really.
Yeah.
You know, if we could be real.
Yeah.
And that's when I made the phone call.
You know, and I want to say that's actually not an easy step for a lot of grieving parents.
Right.
I heard you say a piece about you sensed a change in you.
Yes.
And going through a grief journey, most people are not in tuned enough to sense a shift going on.
Right.
What is it that you felt shifting? What were some of the emotions and symptoms that I would say symptoms that you would see, that you would experience that could help someone else?
Absolutely. So, like I stated before, I mean, I definitely think that I was, or I had the capability, I would say, I'm not going to say was because that means it's gone, but I had the capability to be, again, this life of the party. I mean, big personality, fun loving, which again, all those things are still there. They're just not at 100%. So I saw myself, they were at like 50%, if I could kind of give you like the real, you know what I mean? So it was just a change in my behavior. I was avoiding going places. And when I say that, I mean, I'll never forget the year that he passed away. He passed away in May. And like my family has an annual 4th of July cookout. I didn't go. And this is all the things that I played in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be the person that everybody was looking at or talking to or coming over. And I just wasn't ready for that.
Yes.
And now, granted, that was all in my head that I made up. To say that they were going to do that, probably not. I don't know. But it was just like, I knew I couldn't be my bubbly self, so let me not go. So I shut down.
Okay.
You know, I went in like a hiding,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
so to speak. Also, again, I was this, like, I could recall, like, when I was in school, like my peers telling me, oh my gosh, Michelle, you're so funny. Oh my gosh, you have such a great personality. And I felt like I just wasn't hearing that after he passed away. Because I think I was just carrying grief. You know what I mean? I was carrying this like state of emotions that I didn't feel as though I could express because no one could relate. Or there were people that could relate, but they just wasn't in my inner circle.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like for instance, I was almost 30 at the time when he passed away, and my peers didn't experience things like that. You know what I mean? They, you know, they might have had someone pass away, but it wasn't a child. And that's, I'm not going to sit here and say that when people pass away, you know, you don't go through trauma and grief and things like that. What I'm saying is the loss of a child or the passing of a child is something that is unimaginable. And you don't think that that's something that you ever would have to go through. So, you know, I felt like there was nowhere for me to turn. So I had a lot of emotions bottled in that I felt like I couldn't put.
A heavy load to bear.
It is.
And it looks different for every person at every stage of the journey. So what you even said is that you kind of were looking around for places or people who would support you in this journey. And honestly, not everybody can fully understand or even, like, I want to say, empathize with where you are. So this is why those peer groups, and this is why I asked what brought you to Roberta's house, knowing that you needed support, feeling that you weren't yourself at 100%, but sometimes probably feeling like you were 100%, but actually performing at 50. There is a place where support is needed. In Roberta's house, we offer the peer support groups, and I just want to talk a bit about that. When you first connected with us, what were your expectations coming into a grief support group? Because now you've gone from friends and family who may not be able to support you in that way, and then coming into a place very specific to this, but it's a group setting. What do you feel?
I don't think I had expectations, I'll say. I think I knew that it would bring up some emotions that had been buried, to be honest with you, because Mason passed away in 2019. I didn't do time of sharing until 2025. So it had been 6 years since he passed away. And I think I knew that, again, it would ignite some emotions that I had kind of pushed down.
For sure.
You know, so while there weren't any expectations, I think I was just seeking to be better and get better and heal. And my healing journey is still happening, and it's, you know, it's been 7 years at this point. But I was intentional about doing everything I needed to do to just get back to me.
To the listener who is also at home very hesitant about seeking the support that they need, what is it that was the pivot that you can share to them that actually called you out after 6 years of doing this journey alone?
Right. Honestly, my life was changing. And when I say my life was changing, not to go into specific detail, but some of my relationships were ending. And I do feel as though me not seeking help sooner, me not seeking help sooner could have prevented some of those relationships from ending. So I'll say this to the listener: seek help now. Time is on no one's side. And I don't have any regrets. However, I will say I should have did it sooner. Because again, would relationships still be intact? I don't know. But I will say I know what part my grief and me holding on to emotions played what role that played in some of the many circumstances and relationships that I was in. So time is on no one's side. So seek help yesterday.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I will say for the listener as well, now is the time.
Right.
And there is no wrong or right time.
Correct.
So do I think you sought it too late? No.
Right.
You sought it at the time that you were supposed to seek it.
Right.
And the good thing is, Roberta's house, we were here for you, right?
Right.
And we were able to journey with you in that.
Right.
So there's no time that is pretty much set as anything etched in stone. So when you feel ready, that's going to be the time.
Oh, absolutely.
And you were ready after 6 years, and you're on your journey.
Yes.
And you're here with us to share more about your story and where that's taking you. So tell us a bit about once you connected with the peer groups and kind of what you saw once you were inside. So now on the inside of it, give the listener a peer inside. What is it that you saw, although you didn't have any expectations?
Right. I saw safety, honestly. I mean, it was a safe place for me to be completely vulnerable and share my story. It was a safe place for me to let out whatever emotion that I had bottled in, and no one judged me for it, or no one look at me in a strange way. So I will say this: at first, when he first passed away, I was so hesitant about telling people that my son passed away. Because you get so many different reactions. I mean, so, you know, there's the, oh, I'm so sorry. And then there's the, people don't know what to say. And, you know, you get that. And even to this day, you know what I mean? Because I do have him on my phone screen. And people are, oh, it's your son? And I say, yes, he passed away. And I, even myself, you know, I had preconceived notions about how people would receive me telling someone that my 2-year-old son passed away. And I think I overthought saying it too much. Like people were gonna say, oh, she's telling that story again? Or, we heard that before. Again, these are just all things that I played in my head. So it was a place for me to continuously tell my story week to week, and no one look at me with a side eye or their nose turned up, or me overthink what people thought because they were going through their own grief journey. So that was beneficial in the peer group, that I felt like it was a safe place for me to be completely transparent about everything that I was going through and what had transpired over the course of 6 years that got me to come here, you know. And also it was being in the peer group, I was able to write. So I'm not really a writer.
Okay.
I'm not a journaler. Like I guess
But
I
we
should be in
encourage
2020.
journaling, yes.
In 2026, I probably should
Okay.
be. And it encouraged me to write out a lot of my thoughts and put them on paper. I'm very intentional about like my goals and dreams, writing those out,
Yes.
writing the vision, making it plain. That's what the Bible says, right? So I'm very intentional about that. But writing my feelings out I didn't put that into my goals and dreams. You know what I mean? So I didn't write it out. They were just bottled up in my head, and I would just go day to day and do what I did. But it was so beneficial getting them out on paper and seeing them on paper to say, Michelle, this is how you are feeling. And addressing that, as opposed to, again, like keeping it in this head of ours that can take you so many different places, up, down, side, side. And again, it was a good place for me to write out how I felt and share that with people who are also grieving as well.
Did you ever experience any moments of isolation and or feeling isolated? Most grieving parents kind of have that moment in their journey that they've reported out, that they felt isolated and alone. I'm hearing you being in these peer groups have afforded you an opportunity to not feel that way. Can you speak a little to that?
Yeah, so you do feel isolated. I think I did share that at the age of 30, I did not have a support system that could relate. Again, I had my coworker who lost her 33-year-old son, so she, again, he was more of a mother figure to me. And I'm not saying, we shared a similar experience, yes. But my core group of people could not relate. So you do go in isolation because it's like, well, I don't want to keep talking to my best friend who has her 4 children at home and is still being a mom and is still being a career woman and all these things. I don't want to burden her with that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So you do go into some type of, I don't want to say hiding because I still was going out and things like that, but I was selective about where I was going. Isolation is the best word because I did pick and choose who I exposed myself to and where I went. I will say I had a great community of, my church family was a great place to go and be and feel normal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? My immediate family, my mom and my pastor was a great safe space for me to be normal again. You know what I mean? But when I look outside of that group, although again, my friends were a tremendous support, because they could not relate, you can't help but to think that I can't keep burdening them with my trauma, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and that would kind of keep you from sharing. And then in essence, what you're doing is isolating yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just so that you can keep from burdening people.
Right.
Through your
And
perception,
and then with time of sharing, I will say there was a young lady in there who buried her daughter, and she was older, I think maybe in her 30s or late 20s. And that's another thing is because I lost my baby, it was like, I can't say it was so much more like heartfelt. People were more like empathetic to the fact that I lost my baby. But it was just like, I will say, no one mirrored my specific story. And, while again, it's not common that people, you don't find anyone ever day to day who's, buried their 2-year-old child. But I will say I did not feel like there was an isolation period for me once I joined the group. I will say that.
Very good. Yeah.
Just because, again, we all were kind of at our own process. I mean, one young lady in there, she had just buried her daughter like a month or 2 ago. It had been 6 years for me. So again, they say time heals all wounds. I had been to a point where I had kind of accepted it and was coping with it, and but then there were people again fresh off of a funeral. You know what I mean? So again, but I did not feel isolation when I joined the peer group, just because I was glad I was able to speak life into this young woman or this young lady who buried her daughter. You know what I mean? While yes, she had her daughter for a lot more years than I had my son, I still told, was able to tell her, it will get better. It may not look like it right now, but you see me in the flesh, and you see that I'm still here, I'm still living, I still have purpose to live for. And I was grateful that I could share that with her.
And that's really good. That's one of the highlights, I believe, of the peer groups at Roberta's house is you're going there for the support that you need.
Right.
But I've witnessed, even being inside of the groups, that they wind up benefiting from you sharing along that journey as well. Right. So it's a strengthening place for everyone who's actually there. Would you recommend that type of group and support to someone who, a grieving parent who is in a similar situation that you were?
Absolutely. No, I would absolutely recommend a peer group at Roberta's house. And I say that because it's a choice to navigate this grief process alone. That's a choice. When God gives us resources, my ultimate resources is my faith.
Yes.
I don't take that for granted. I am very vocal and unapologetic about my faith and my belief in God and how He's brought me through and brought me to this point to where I can be used as a vessel. Yes. However, God puts resources down on this earth for us to utilize them. And I do believe that Roberta's house is a resource that we can utilize to help us through our grief journey. Do we want to go through grief journeys? No, we don't. No. But the reality is that we all have an expiration date. We don't know when, we don't know where, we don't know how, but we all have an expiration date. And sometimes they're sudden, and sometimes we can prepare for them. But however that happens, we have resources. Yes. So it's utilize the resources while they're here. Because again, time is not on anyone's side.
Yeah. And utilizing resources and being a resource kind of go hand in hand when we talk about the grief journey, right?
Absolutely.
So when I think about being a resource, I know oftentimes our grief journey kind of propels us or catapults us into another place to want to do something for our fellow man, right? And you've been motivated to move forward in some way, right?
Yes.
Share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So just to give you a little bit of background or experience as to what happened the day my son passed away. So the day my son passed away, he passed away suddenly. He wasn't like a sick baby or anything like that. He passed away suddenly right after Memorial Day weekend. We were at the hospital, and when he passed away, the hospital has so much support in the area of being liaisons to families. But they're in-house, meaning they stay at the hospital and you get a packet full of pamphlets and they say,
figure it out.
Thank you so much. Godspeed. Have a nice day. And then while they're not saying that specifically, that's what you hear in that moment after you have to walk away without your child. So in that, while they're just doing what they're being paid to do, I did not want to see that for another family. And when I say I didn't want to see that for another family is you don't know where to go and what to do when you leave that hospital. For me, I had to go back to our house where his toys were still in the middle of the floor, his pull-ups were still in the drawer, his bed was still unmade. I mean, I walked back into his life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I didn't know how to navigate that. And I want still to be a resource and a shoulder to cry on for families who experience the loss of a child. And I keep saying loss, but the passing of a child. So when I say be careful what you pray for, I'm going to tie this all together because I know I'm kind of rambling. But again, my prayer was that the Mason name continue to live on because my dad had all girls. Yes. I did not know it would be in this way. So my family and we started a nonprofit called Mason's Legacy Foundation right after he passed away to help grieving parents of children just navigate that process right after a child passes away. Again, I just didn't want them to be alone. because it's not often that you find people that can help you, or not help you. It's not often that you find people who have gone through what you've been through. So if God would have came to me and told me, I'm going to use you as the vessel to help other families, I would have looked at him and laughed. But I'm grateful and I'm proud to say that if that is my life's purpose, to help one family, then I've done my job. So yes, I have launched Mason's Legacy Foundation. And I will say I started that at a time where I wasn't healed. So I had to take a step back so I wouldn't bleed on people.
That's right.
And my purpose in life is to help other families and direct them to Roberta's house and direct them to resources around the city and state, to where they won't feel like they're alone, or they won't feel as though once they get that packet, they're on their own. You know what I mean? So however God can use me, I'm willing to say, I'm willing to give God my yes.
I love it. Give me 5.
Motherhood isn't something that goes away. It doesn't fade. It doesn't loosen its hold. And neither does the grief that comes with losing a child. They live side by side, in the small things, in the moments that used to feel ordinary, and don't anymore. At Roberta's house, we stand with mothers who know this kind of weight. You are still a mother. Your love still matters, and you deserve more than silence. Through our Hope and Halo programs, there is space to be seen, to be understood, to begin to heal. Together, you don't have to carry it alone.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Roberta's House. I am Mona Hadley, your host for today, and we are with our special guest, Michelle Grier, who is sharing a bit about her journey after the loss of her 2-year-old son, Mason. We were just speaking a bit about the program that you had joined when you came to Roberta's house, which was a time of sharing.
Right.
And then we wanted to speak a bit more about some of the other 13 programs that we do have available. We just want to speak about the Halo program. Have you heard about Halo?
Yes.
Okay, let us know what you've heard about us.
I have heard that this program is for parents who's had a child pass away in the age range of Mason. So I'm hearing it's 2 to 17, which I think is phenomenal because, again, me being a parent of someone who's buried a child that young, you don't find that often in your everyday peer group. So you don't find that often in your day-to-day, interaction. So having this program will allow for parents to connect with other parents who are going through the same thing that they are going through, which is needed. Because I think I told you, and I even shared that, even my friends who, were a great support, I didn't feel as though I could really, burden them with, what I was going through, because they didn't experience the same thing I experienced. So having an outlet of people who have shared something similar is definitely beneficial.
Yes, and we're glad that you appreciate that, and we're glad to have that program be a part of one of our newest programs that we have at Roberta's house. With the Halo Hope After Loss outreach program, it reaches to persons all across the state who have grieving children, who are grieving the loss of their child, and are actually on a journey. And much like you talked about, this journey it's like a lifelong, endless journey, right? And so it's going to look different for everyone as you continue to course forward. And we were speaking a bit about what it may look like as you have expectations of your child, of Mason. So there's some things that you would have experienced and, dreamt about, thought about, already fix for, possibly building an account for, and those expectations are still there. And you mentioned just a little bit about how that impacted you along this journey. Can you share with our listeners a bit what that is, or what it
Absolutely.
looks like?
So, someone told me, or I heard somewhere, that grief is like, I may say this wrong, but I think you'll understand the gist. It's like if you spill a bottle of glitter and you try to clean that bottle of glitter up, and you think you've gotten every single speck of that glitter, but next week you're gonna see a couple more specks. A month from now, you'll see a little. Oh, there's one right there. A year from now, oh my goodness, you got something on your face.
Right.
So glitter.
Yeah.
So I always compare my journey to like spilling glitter on the carpet and trying to clean that up, because even 6 years now, 7 years after he passed away, I'm still finding pieces of that glitter. And I say that because there are different milestones that come up that are hard for me to deal with. I'll be honest. For instance, birthdays, of course, are always sensitive for me to course through. And I'll say, in particular, so my nephew and my son were born 2 weeks to the day apart.
Okay.
And there have been milestones for him, graduations, things like that, where I sit and I'm happy for my nephew. However, I can't help but to think that my son would have been there as well. And again, this year he would be 9, and while again that's still very young, I think about he was my only son, so I'll never get a mother-daughter dance at a wedding. You know, I mean, I'm not a mother-daughter, excuse me, mother-son dance at a wedding. You know what I mean? You know, I hear about how boys are protective over their mom. You know what I mean? I won't experience that. You know what I mean? So they're just different things that I thought about, you know, when I had a son that I won't be able to experience. And, you know, those things, while time does heal, will continue to come up.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm sure when my nephew graduates high school, I'll also think about that.
Yeah.
He would have had his cousin there with him, graduating with him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, you know, I don't think that'll ever go away. It'll always be a thought in my mind. But, you know, you do think about those things.
Yeah.
And you can't help but to think that could have been me, or that would have been me, you know? So those are some things that I think can be beneficial in the support group that they could share.
Yes,
You know what I mean? That would help people, you know, kind of course through that. And with, again, time of sharing, while it was a tremendous benefit to me, I didn't talk about that. You know, I didn't talk about, oh, you know, his graduation was hard for me. You know what I mean? Just because everyone was at a different stage and a different path in their grief journey. So.
And thank you for sharing that. That's exactly why the programs such as Halo and Time of Sharing Reconnecting are there, to help continue on the journey with you. Even if you are attending a group, at times that there are still going to be, after you've graduated and completed the 10-week curriculum, that you're still going to need that support system.
Right.
And 3-4 years, 3 months, 3 days afterward, you're still going to need something or someone there to support.
Right.
So these programs, Halo is actually offering the once a month support group, as well as the Time of Sharing Reconnecting. And these are for persons who have completed the program, but then still have a way to still stay connected.
Right.
I can imagine that in the peer group that you made relationships that feel like lifelong relationships that are going to be with you.
Yeah. So again, through the course of Time of Sharing, again, it was, you know, a gentleman who just lost his mom. Then there was a young lady in there who lost her partner, you know. Then there was a gentleman in there who lost his wife. I mean, it was so many different, but I did connect and empathize with them on a level of, this is my group, you know, and it's like when you graduate from high school and it's like, this is my class,
Yeah,
you know.
sure.
So that, it was nice to build those connections while I was in the class. And again, if I see them, I would definitely have love for them, and we were able to be vulnerable with each other, and I think that's something that I'm grateful to have had experience, because again, being vulnerable is sometimes what the world would deem a sign of weakness. You know what I mean? And you don't feel weak when you go through these programs. You feel strong and uplifted being vulnerable, because everyone else is also experiencing the same vulnerability. So it's like, well, let's uplift each other with sharing our stories. So I'm grateful to have those relationships with those people, and it's like we have soul ties.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. You share so much as we've gone through this discussion on today.
Absolutely.
And we thank you for having us to just share a bit of the light of Mason that you've had in your life, so we can see the illumination a little bit and feel that, and we definitely see it through you. So Michelle, we truly thank you for trusting us in this time of exchange, and I hope that you have encouraged someone. I'm sure your witness has reached further than you can even imagine. So someone right now who's watching or listening to this discussion between us at Real Talk, they are connecting with this very, very moment. They've been listening, and they're drawn in. They're sitting at the edge of their seat right now. What is the message that you can share with them that would be the message that you needed to hear in this moment?
So I think it's what I've been saying, this entire conversation, is that time waits for no one. Someone asked me, will you be here tomorrow? And honestly, can I answer that? No, I can't, because I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know what will happen to me when I leave here. I don't know what God has in store for me tomorrow. So I would ask, are you going to be here tomorrow? And if you don't know the concrete answer to that question, I would say seek help now. Seek counsel now. Again, God gives us resources, and the resources are good. The resources are tested and proven. And I would say don't wait. And, in between time, if you are on the fence, again, I would not be Michelle if I did not say pray about it, and meditate on what's right and what would be the best thing for you and your family. I'm very vocal about expression, and if that's expressing yourself through different avenues, this is a place where you can express yourself, and just get out whatever it is that you're bottling in. I like to be expressive in ink, so tattoos and things like that. I do. Yeah, sure. I don't know if you can see. This is for my son. He loved the movie Coco. That's from the movie Coco. It's Remember Me, and I would not. The song we played at his funeral, and I would not know that song would be the song that I would always remember and resonate so well with me in remembering his legacy. So, but you have a safe space to express all of that here at Roberta's house and with their programs. And I think it is an amazing platform of what you all have done for the people in this state and the people who are grieving. I'll be honest and saying people in our community don't like to talk about things like this. We brush it under the rug. We don't talk about it. We kind of just sweep over it. But how does that benefit us? It doesn't. You become a walking zombie, and I hate to use that word, but you do. You become a person who is numb and you're just maintaining. I say live. There is life after losing a child. I am living witness, and I am so grateful to be a testimony, to have this testimony to say that there is life after losing a child, and I'm living it. and I'm living proof. So I hope that you can get here where I am. And be able to talk about it and it not be a sore subject or anything like that. So I don't want to keep rambling, but yes, that's where I'm at with it.
No rambling. What beautiful encouragement. Thank you so much for encouraging us on today and myself, and continue to journey forward in strength.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I'm sure we will hear about you soon.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
The Healthy Beginnings Infant Safe Sleep Equity and Prevention Summit brings Maryland together to share knowledge. It's a full day of real conversations, practical strategies, and research that supports safer sleep and stronger communities. Featuring national voices like Rachel Y. Moon, alongside those with lived experience. If your work touches families, this is where it comes together. Join us.
Thank you,
Register
Michelle,
today.
for sharing all of this and your journey and being so encouraging. Tell us a bit about your family and who else is on this journey with you.
Absolutely. So I have my 11-year-old daughter, Carson.
Hi, Carson.
Carson was 5 at the time when her little brother passed away. And, you know, what I think is great about this Halo program and it being for all family members of after the grief journey of losing a small child is that I had to have the conversation and continue to have the conversation to a 5-year-old about her brother passing. And while, yes, I'm mommy and, you know, I don't know if I could have given her everything she needed at that time. You know, we've definitely navigated through. You know, she's an amazing straight A student, is in dance and is beautiful and smart and all the things. I rave about her. If I couldn't do that, or if I couldn't be the person that I needed her to be, where would she be right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's great that this program is for siblings as well. Because they go through a journey themselves. You know, while mom and dad are going through the journey, they go through a journey themselves. Again, at 5 years old, I couldn't even imagine where her mind was. But I remember having to come home and tell her that your little brother's not coming home anymore. You know what I mean? That was hard for a mother. And till this day, I'm still very overprotective about her mind and her thoughts and where she's at. But I'm grateful that this program will help aid in that. Then it's his dad. You know, we went through a course of battling that grief together. You know what I mean? And, you know, I think, you know, in this world that we live in, they say that, you know, we build men up to be tough and strong and don't cry and be the man and, you know, but men also need a safe space to go. You know what I mean? That was his son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, I empathize with him because I wanted to be what he needed to be for me. It was like we were like feeding off of each other, but we were just trying to keep our head above water. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that we had, again, our church family and our immediate family that rallied around us. But there weren't a lot of people that he could go to as a resource. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful, again, that this program is for everyone that has experienced this loss. So, you know, it's our small little family. And I'm grateful that we have all come this far to talk about it and be okay with talking about it to help other people.
Excellent. Sounds like that you have done a lot of work, and you all have done a lot of work during this journey. And that March Grier likes to say, grief is work. Grief work is work.
Oh,
you
yes.
have to put in the work. So it requires a lot of dedication to healing and hoping again. So in that, I kind of wanted to discuss, were there any moments where you, one, felt like you neglected yourself in there, and then two, how did you recover? Where did you start to remember you and kind of get into a place where you remembered who you were and started going forward with caring for yourself again?
Right. So, yeah, to answer your question, yes, there was a moment where I feel that I, quote unquote, let myself go. You know, I think I was in, again, a survival mode. I was in a mode of, Michelle, you still have these titles that you have to fulfill. I had a full-time job. I was a wife. I was a mom. I was a daughter. I was a sister. I was so many titles.
All the things.
All the things, literally all the things. And those titles don't go away when you lose a child. They continue. So you go into this survival mode that I still have to show up in every area of my life, but I didn't show up for Michelle. And I felt that. And I felt that in how I would, again, interact with people. I'm going back to what we were saying, that, you know, I felt that in how I would interact with people. I felt that in my day-to-day dealings with people. And, you know, I had went through a phase of weight gain, you know. So, you know, grief can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be spiritual, it can be, you know, it can be so many things. It can take a toll on you in so many areas of your life, that, you know, because people deal with grief in many different ways, there was a point of me not eating, if we want to, you know, open up about every single area that it affects. You know, I'm the person where if I'm on edge about anything, I can't even drink water. And I know I'm not condoning that at all, so don't take that. But I can't intake anything because I'm so consumed, because I'm so just not myself. So there was a time where like I didn't eat anything after he passed away, because I was just like they was like, did you eat something? I'm like, no, I'm okay, you know. And then once, you know, you have to eat. So you start to, you know, slowly but surely eat. And then it's like, I'm finding comfort in food. You know what I mean? So again, there was a time where my weight had gone back up, you know. So it's just so many different areas of your life that this healing journey and this grief journey will take you. And you know, you look at pictures, you see yourself, you're like, well, that's me, you know? And, you know, and that's when you see the physical resemblance of yourself kind of not being who you were. You know what I mean? And that was some of the ways where I kind of neglected myself. And I was so consumed also with that mom role, because I was still a mom. You know, at the end of the day, yes, I buried my child, but I was still a mom to my now 11-year-old daughter, Carson.
Carson still needed me.
And she still needed me. And she still needed me at the same capacity that she had me before my son passed away. My mother could understand me not showing up as a daughter. My husband at the time could understand me not showing up as a wife, because they're grown, they're adults, they understand that I'm going through something. But my 5-year-old child did not understand that mommy can't show up 50%. She wasn't going to understand that at 5 years old. You know what I mean? So I still had to do any and everything to show up with her, to her at 100%. And you go into overdrive, and you put your foot on the pedal, and you're just going. And life is passing you by, and again, there was never a time where I sat down and said, Michelle, what are you doing for yourself to make you better and to make you whole? And it wasn't until 2025 last year when I sat down and I said, Michelle, you have been in overdrive for quite some time. You got to take care of you. Because I can't be the best mom, I can't be the best daughter, I can't be the best partner if I'm not the best Michelle. And that's when it was like a self-reflection moment for me. So for me, again, it was just me self-reflecting on my life and saying, what can you do to be your best self? And everyone won't get there. You know what I mean? I pray that you all get there, but everyone won't get there. But I'm grateful that, you know, I asked God for discernment, and I got the epiphany to say, Michelle, you need to be your best self.
And what are some of the things that you started to do for self-care?
So I sought my own personal counseling. So that was one thing I did. I got in my word more. And again, I'm unapologetic. I keep saying that, and I don't want to force my beliefs on anyone, but I'm unapologetic about me turning up my prayer time, turning up my devotion time, just because I know what my strength comes from. And my strength came from all these years, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So again, it was just, you know, turning up my devotion time, seeking personal counsel along with grief support.
Yes.
Those combined, working hand in
Yeah.
hand, you know. Choosing me. Choosing me. If that's just having quiet time to myself, then that's having quiet time to myself. And I'm grateful that, you know, again, my 11-year-old daughter understands that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At 5, maybe not, but at 11, she does. And I mean, the list goes on and on, but if I had to pick the top, you know, it would be those things that I have sought that has been helping me and still helping me to this day of how to navigate my healing journey.
Yeah, because grief it takes you through a whole course, and some people believe that there's a ending point of grief and there's not anything required to do in there, but it's no end to it. It's a continuation and now a readjustment period, which that self-care comes in and has to be continual for you. And it doesn't just always look like a spa treatment or a bubble bath or a sip of wine. It's a continuous effort to live a full life. And I'm glad that you found those spaces to recover and to move forward.
Absolutely. It's important. It's needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
To all of our listeners, thank you for spending this time with us at Real Talk with Roberta's House. And again, we thank Michelle Grier for being here with us and sharing a portion of her journey with us.
Thank you for having
so
me.
much. If you or someone you know have experienced the loss of a loved one and are seeking support, please reach out to Roberta's House. We have 13 programs, including clinical care with behavioral health support, that will be right here for you. Just remember that you do not have to grieve alone. We're here for you, and we offer the support that you will need to help you go through this journey. At Roberta's House, our motto is, I care for you, you care for me, and we care for each other. Please feel free to reach out to us at www.robertashouse.org or call us at 410-235-6633, and we will be there for you. Until the next time, please take good care of yourself, and we'll see you on Real Talk with Roberta's House.
This program is supported in part by the Baltimore Mayor's Opioid Restitution Fund, the Maryland Department of Health, and by generous donors like you. For more information or to support our work, please visit robertashouse.org. Real Talk with Roberta's House is executive produced by Dr. Alexander Satori Robinson, with video and sound production by 89 Crowns, and leadership from Annette R. March Grier, president and co-founder of Roberta's House. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of our guests and contributors and do not necessarily reflect those of Roberta's House. Thank you for listening and for being part of a community that believes healing is possible.